Today, I'm standing here outside Greenwich Observatory, home to the prime meridian in GMT. Now, you're probably wondering why I'm here, and I'll get to that in a minute, but first, let me ask you a question. Right about here, I've got a bunch of random dots ranging from very blue to very purple. Now, all I want you to do is tell me how many blue dots you see. Well, researchers at Harvard University had participants sift through nearly 1,000 of these dots, and rather interesting results started to appear. For the first 200 dots, where the frequency of blue was kept constant, participants were able to correctly identify the dots, but as the prevalence of blue dots began to decrease to a fraction of what they were before, participants now began classifying previously purple dots as now being blue. Their concept of blue had changed. A similar test was done where now participants were shown research proposals and had to identify if ethical or not. Once again, as the frequency of unethical proposals fell, participants now began classifying previously ethical proposals as now being unethical. Their concept of morality changed. And it's this that's known as prevalence-induced concept change. Now, I won't get into the nitty-gritty bit of it all because, to be honest, I don't really know myself, but maybe, just maybe, this is a reason why we're all so unhappy. Now, before you tell me, stop, Krish, I'm really happy with my life, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't mean that you yourself are necessarily unhappy. In general, though, happiness levels have dropped. But why? Poverty is at an all-time low. People are living longer, and I could go to one of the most remote villages in India and still get a satellite signal. Well, it all comes down to the blue dot effect, which was termed by best-selling author Mark Manson and based off of Harvard study. As problems become fewer, we quickly fill that void with other rather meaningless problems. Think about it. In the pre-Uber days where you'd have to wait 30 minutes for a cab to arrive, now if it's late by 5 minutes, you get annoyed. When Wi-Fi speeds used to be a fraction of what they are, if a page takes a few extra seconds to load, we become agitated. The blue dot effect in many ways explains our predicament. Most of us are leading more comfortable lives than we ever had, yet we're constantly gripping with a sense of dissatisfaction. Look, I'm not saying that we've reached the peak of human evolution and life is so great so we should just stop. But when that cab's a couple extra minutes late or the page takes a few extra seconds to load, reframe your problems. Life's about progress, but also about using comparison to acknowledge how far we've come. And that brings me here to Greenwich Observatory. 60 years ago, due to growing levels of light and air pollution, the observatory was forced to shut down as the telescope could no longer operate. But thanks to improvements in London's air quality since the 50s, the telescope was able to reopen in 2018. Now, not only being a popular tourist destination, but also a site for scientific research and collaboration. This is proof that we are getting better, and sometimes, just sometimes, all it really takes is to stop and see it.